Good evening and welcome to Unapologetic Live, the UK podcast on politics, news and stuff from a right of centre viewpoint. Of course, we're not really live, but we are trying for the first time ever to do our podcast. Because we're all in isolation and stuck inside because of COVID-19, we're trying to do it with video. Now that's everybody except Jonathan Farmer. You'll notice that poor old Jonathan, he's there as a phone symbol. That's because his internet is so bad that he can't actually connect using video. So first of all, let's just say hello to Susan.
Hello.
And Sam.
Hey.
And Jonathan.
Hello.
There you go. I mean, there is a slight delay, guys. This is going to be probably an absolute cluster, I'm telling you, because it's going to be a disaster. We've been at this for about an hour trying to get it set up. We've no idea what we're doing. Anyway, it's been a while, but that's because we've all been locked up and unable to go out. This is the first time we've managed to sort our technology out. Let's see how we go. So, first of all, first item of tonight, virtual parliament. Plans for a virtual parliament to let MPs quiz ministers during the coronavirus outbreak have been approved by authorities. Breaking with nearly 700 years of tradition, around 120 MPs will be able to dial into Zoom calls just like this and ask questions, with a further 50 allowed to sit in the chamber under strict social distancing rules. Commons Speaker Sir Lindsay Hoyle, excuse me, not COVID, just to clear in the throat, said the hybrid solution will let MPs stay close to their communities and continue their important work scrutinising the government during the COVID-19 pandemic. What do you think, Susan? Is this a good idea or a terrible idea?
I think it's good, and I think we should be moving with the times. But having done quite a few Zoom meetings recently, good luck on that. I mean, they've got a little bit more money than I have, and their equipment's going to be better. However, these Zoom meetings are not great at all.
Sam, what are you doing?
Looks best.
So vain. Sam, what do you think about
But
this?
it's not that. It's just because I've been eating a lot since this lockdown, so I've got like a real big double chin now because of all this lockdown snacks.
You've been eating a lot since this lockdown.
I mean, don't get me wrong, I've always eaten a lot. I'm not a small girl, but you know, lockdown I have been eating a lot of snacks.
All right. So, what do you think about virtual parliament?
I think that it will be a disaster because a lot of these parliamentarians are boomers, and they'll really struggle with using the internet, I think.
Oh, they aren't all boomers, are they? And they will have like experts on their staff to help them do it. So I expect they'll just
They're
kind
not
of...
allowed to be with their staff, and believe me, I've experienced this. I've had quite a few of these meetings and council meetings so far, and you kind of get people that turn up and they're like, "Hello, I'm this person. This is what I have to say," and stuff. And
Jonathan, what do you think about this? Jonathan, say hello. I'm this person.
It's not really that novel. Because apparently the select committees already operated using Zoom.
Oh, good to know.
Well, it makes a good headline, but as I say, it's not exactly innovative. The innovative bit is, I think they've shoved a load of sort of screens in the chamber, but beyond that, there's nothing wildly new about it.
Well, I mean, what is interesting for me about all of this, Jonathan, is normally you have a load of notes and we tell you not to use them. Now you're somewhere where we can't stop you, and I can't hear any papers turning at all. You've done no prep, have you?
I have. Do you want to rustle my papers?
Yeah, rustle your papers, come on.
No.
I can't hear a thing.
this here is a live example of why this will not work.
And this is just three of us and one bloke phoning in.
Let's be honest, though, as well. If somebody asks you a question you don't really want to answer, you can just go, audio's gone? Like, yeah, what? What's that?
Well, apparently, he explained this being Go ahead.
According to the notes that I've got, it said MPs are requested not to use visual props or objects, such as banners and placards.
What sort of props would they use? What sort of props do you think should be used, Sam? Oh no.
I don't know, but I'm going to quickly make one.
Go on then.
Arts and crafts.
Everyone find a prop. Hang on, I've got a great prop. Hold on. Wait a second.
Oh, what about? Oh, I could do one.
My plague mask.
Why have you got a gimp mask?
It's a plague mask. Look, it's a plague mask.
Okay, yeah, sure.
Yeah, all right, Steve. Oh,
Yes, just here in my
like,
office.
happy
In case I need to
Easter.
gimp it up a bit.
Slightly worrying, Steve. But look, happy Easter.
Very good.
This is mine.
Jonathan, you've seemed a bit left out. What do you think about all this? Sam's asking for help. You can't see
Well,
it.
if you know, if I was on video, you'd be able to see that I got a stuffed eel here, but you've missed out, really.
An invisible visual prop. Excellent. Okay, moving on to agenda
Virtual
item.
one.
Moving on to agenda item 2, which is WHO funding. So, President Donald Trump announced yesterday evening that he will withdraw funding for the World Health Organization on the grounds that it helped China cover up the origin and extent of its coronavirus outbreak. The United States pays the largest fraction in recent years, about 17% of the WHO's budget. So the Atlantic website says, as for the WHO, its errors were serious and unforced. Its delegation to Wuhan helped China underplay the severity of the outbreak, costing the rest of the world precious weeks. It denied that COVID-19 was contagious amongst humans as late as January 14th in an infamous tweet. At that point, when the disease may have already been spreading silently in the United States and the rest of the world, people who trusted the WHO for medical advice would reasonably have believed they were broadly safe. So apparently Boris Johnson's been called upon to follow Trump in withholding the WHO money. What do you all think, Sam?
Well, I don't know much about them, but I do know that they play a sure mean pinball.
Oh dear.
No one gets a joke, do they?
I think they do, Sam. I think they do. Jonathan, what do you think about the WHO, World Health Organization?
I think the interesting thing is they focus on the fact the Americans, the biggest contributor, sort of 436 odd million, but the second biggest is the United Kingdom.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
Fund them over £300 million a year.
Money well spent.
And the organisation doesn't seem to be kind of too switched on. In mid-January, they tweeted that preliminary investigations had found there's no clear evidence of human-to-human transmission. Which
That's a bit worrying, isn't it?
Epic.
It wasn't their best. It wasn't their best day ever.
No, and it subsequently came under fire for stating travel restrictions were not needed to stop the spread of the virus.
Sam, your video's frozen and not in the ideal location.
Why?
Your
It's
nose
a
was
bit
very
of a
big.
funny look you got going on.
Susan, what do you think about the WHO?
If I'm honest, if this is actually true, and they didn't, their whole thing is about disease control, and they didn't know about this, and they didn't give the right information, I think he's got a point of withholding money. Like,
Well,
especially you're talking about over £400 million. That's not short change, is it? You'd expect some sort of guidance back from that amount of money.
obviously he's been criticised because, as well as doing all of this, the WHO is coordinating the COVID response, and so they're saying, well, if you withhold the money, but actually this is like the next lot of budget. They've had money. They're not short of money, I don't think. And I think the point he's making is not that he's taking it from them, but that he's, every time he's criticised them in the past, they've come back and said, don't make it political. But, you know, he's saying you've made it political by sort of covering for China. And I think we need to know the truth, don't we, Sam?
I think so. I think we need to get on a magic bus and go over to the WHO and see what's happening. Because it's our generation that we have to worry about. You know, my generation.
Yeah, we got the joke with the R generation. Jonathan, have you got anything sensible to add? I mean, actually, Sam, given the mooch is in tonight, she probably thinks your face is a telephone, but can we...
Yeah, I mean, the other thing with the I forgot what I was going to say now.
All right, setting in, Jonathan. It's setting in. Gets us all.
It is. It's
Just
senile,
exactly
isn't
what
it?
I'm saying about the Zoom meetings.
You know what it is? It's these G5 phones. You know, they kind of rot your brains.
G5.
As well as apparently transmitting COVID-19 to you if you through the ether. This is only funny until somebody finds some evidence and we all sound stupid. Right, so
And everyone's going to surpass the fact that he just called it G5. Is everyone letting that go?
Just let him go. Look, he can't even get his internet to work. Just leave him alone.
Okay, yeah, okay. 5G if you're being pedantic.
G5, 5G. What does it matter? So let's have one of our unapologetic votes. So withhold the money from the Who or not, Susan?
Oh, it is a bit hard. I would want some serious restructuring.
No fence sitting, yes or no?
I know it's a fence. I know it's a fence answer, and I know you hate these from me, but I just don't know enough information. I mean, if they've genuinely lied about stuff and they've tried to cover things up, then I would be very cautious about giving them another penny.
You don't understand these unapologetic votes, do you? This is where we are completely... That doesn't matter whether we know anything. It doesn't matter if we haven't got enough information. We just make a rock hard judgment based on whatever we fancy, really.
Okay, well, 400 million, and they didn't give the right information, then no, I'm out.
Withhold the money. What do you say, Sam?
Yeah.
Well, I can't explain what Boris should do, but what I would do personally is... We knew that this started in the Chinese meat markets with Boris the Spider. So I say, no way. I'm sorry, but that was impressive. That was 5 Who songs.
Have you been drinking?
That's fine.
Jonathan, do we withhold the money from the Who or not?
It might be an idea if the UK would as well. Yeah, I mean, the other thing all this hoo-ha, but he's only kind of withheld it for, I think it's about 7 weeks or something. He'll then review it after that, so he's perhaps expecting them to raise their game a bit.
Okay, so I think we've got a yes, withhold it from Susan, a yes, withhold it from Jonathan, nonsensical nonsense from Sam. I say yes, withhold it. So the unapologetic...
No, I did yes as well. I did say yes.
All you're doing is product placement.
Yeah, you are a bit.
It's really good though. I got it today. 7-Up free. Cherry flavour, and we're not even doing this because we're being paid like some of the YouTubers. We're not that cool, but it's really nice.
We've got a sponsor.
Who is it?
Oh, all right, we haven't got a sponsor. Don't shame me
Who's
publicly.
that?
We might get a sponsor at some point. Listen, if anybody's listening to this and wants to benefit from our thousands of audience that we used to have before we disappeared and now we've got 6, but if anyone wants to benefit from those 6, you just let us know and we'll do you a great deal. Couple £100, you can be sponsored of every let's say 4 podcasts. That fair, guys?
I want to be like when you watch the American ones. They're like, "Now let's take you to an advert for 7-Up Cherry. It'll really change your life." I love drinking 7-Up Cherry. I don't honestly think they use half the stuff they say about in these YouTube adverts. Honestly,
apparently,
I have more.
They don't.
Apparently, a lot of them get sent the product. So if they quite like it when they get expensive ones because they get sent like if they get a mattress or something that costs £1,000, they get sent one to try and they get it for free. I mean, who wouldn't say it was great?
Yeah, but have you seen a lot of them when they turn up to hotels and they expect the hotel free because they're a blogger and the hotel says no and then they cause a fuss and start slating them online?
I aspire to us all being able to turn up to get free hotels. What do you think, Jonathan?
Oh, I think hotel owners are pretty good at telling people to get stuff if they think they're, sort of taking the mick.
Fair enough. Okay, so let's move on to item 3. So this one was suggested by Sam. A woman who claims to be in a relationship with a 92-year-old chandelier has lost a discrimination case against the Sun newspaper. Amanda Liberty says her sexual orientation is an attraction to inanimate objects, which has been described in one academic paper as objectum sexual. She has spoken out about her unusual love story in the media previously, saying she planned to have a commitment ceremony to Lumiere to show that my love is going to last. Miss Liberty from Leeds... Hang on.
Yes.
Miss Liberty from Leeds was mocked, believe it or not, in stories in the newspaper. She said that by awarding her the Dagenham Award, 2 stops beyond barking, and asking whether she was dim and dimmer, the article was pejorative to her sexual orientation. As well, she said she was not married to the chandelier, merely in a relationship, so they shouldn't have got that wrong. Shouldn't have said she was married to it when she wasn't. What do you think about this, Jonathan? Married to a chandelier?
Well, there's all sorts of strange things out there, isn't there? It made me think of there's a book that was produced back in 1985 by Oliver Sacks, and called "The Man Who Mistook His Wife for a Hat."
Oh, the notes are out.
And apparently, pardon?
The notes are out.
The notes?
Yeah, you've got your notes out, haven't you?
Have I just rustled them?
No, I just got a feeling. The way that you went into
Yeah,
that sounded like note moment.
It just trips off the tongue, doesn't it? Apparently there's a guy called Dr. P, and he had a thing called visual agnosia, which was a neurological condition that left him unable to recognise even familiar faces and objects. So, as a consequence, he mistook his wife for a hat.
Did he? Actually, no, I'm not going to say it. I'm not going to say it.
Oh, okay.
You made that up.
Yeah, I mean, the other thing is that this is quite, this thing about sort of falling in love with objects, quite a common thing for 19-year-old lads and their cars.
Well, yeah, I suppose.
Oh, I actually thought he was going to say something else then.
I did too.
Yeah.
I mean, including giving them
Japanese
female
sex
names,
doll.
like, sort of.
So, I guess the question I'm going to ask you, Susan, is: do you have any sympathy for Amanda Liberty and her love affair with a 92-year-old chandelier?
I do, because she must. Come on, she
Of
must.
course
be
you
missing
do.
something. I know. She must be missing something fundamental in her life to want to fall in love with a chandelier.
She would say you're missing
Come on.
something fundamental. You're missing a chandelier.
I just think, come on, she must be. Has she got kids? Like, is she going out? Does she need to go to bingo? Like, there's
Susan.
so many things that we need to put into this woman's life.
Susan, if there's a power cut, can your other half light the room? Sam,
That is true.
Sam, if
He
you were going to
doesn't
be,
sparkle.
if you had to be in love with an object, what object would you pick to be in love with?
Susan's like, no, don't ask me. Real love.
And if you happen to have that object around, show us it.
How do we define love? Are we talking about like romance or sexual?
Hey, don't get philosophical. It's far too highbrow for this show.
Serious, it matters.
All right.
Love.
Well, she's the photo of her, which will be probably on the thumbnail for this video, is her kind of passionately hugging this chandelier and pressing her lips to one bit of metal. I don't know what that metal corresponds with, but that's what she's doing. So I suppose passionate love.
Cucumber.
Any particular cucumber, or will anyone do? Are you just kind of but easy on the cucumber?
Salad
front?
one, not like
Organic?
a small. It doesn't really matter. I don't think so. No.
Jonathan. So, have you ever been mistaken for an object by a lady who you were interested in?
Not that I'm aware of.
Have you ever? No, I'm not going to ask that question. We could go too far easily, I'm sure. And it took too long to set up this this podcast for us to mess it up now. So I guess we need another unapologetic vote. So Sun versus Amanda Liberty. Whose side are you on, Susan?
Oh, I like to be on the Sun, but I find it
get
really hard
burned.
to be on her side. I know I'm so terrible. Aren't I? I just sit on the fence in all situations, thanks.
All right, so you're not taking a side.
I'll go hers.
You're going on Amanda Liberty's side.
I can't side with the Sun.
Sam, who are you with?
I'm actually on the chandelier side. Can't believe that you aren't accepting his feelings in all of this.
Jonathan, whose side are you on?
Well, the Sun is always the voice of reason, so I'm going with the Sun.
Fair enough, and I'm going to be on the side of the other objects in her house who feel desperately lonely and left out.
She must have a nice house if she's got chandeliers.
All right, guys, we're moving on to agenda item 4. We're going to light-heart it up a little bit because that last bit was obviously very serious. And we're going to move on to our favourite quarantine foods. But before we do, just some good news. Burger King, KFC and Pret have started to reopen some branches for delivery only. Some of the UK's high street food brands are offering delivery-only services as they partially reopen some branches. Those three have all closed stores 3 weeks ago under the government's coronavirus lockdown, but the fast food chains have reopened a limited number of stores across the country for delivery only. Government guidelines dictate that while restaurants and bars must close, they may open as food delivery services. So, good news or bad news is this, Jonathan?
It's indifferent news. My wife's a brilliant chef, and I've been eating rather well over the last few weeks.
Do you ever cook for her?
I have done on one occasion. Like, we have been married 20 years.
I'm guessing it was bad, and she was like, never again.
No, it was actually quite good. But I mean, everything I do is quite good. But is
your wife called Amanda Liberty?
No.
All right, so
Do you
Sam,
have any chandeliers in your house?
No.
Sam, how do you receive this news about Burger King, KFC, and Pret? And which one of those are you most interested in?
None, to be honest.
You
Because,
liar.
No, because Burger King, like, I do like the burgers, but the one in like our
That's
town,
why
I
they're
never
called
go
Burger
to.
King.
Yeah, exactly. And KFC, haven't missed it. I mean, I know that sounds like lies, but I genuinely haven't. And Pret, I never eaten anyway. So, yeah, I'm not.
None
really
of us are
bothered
middle
about-
class enough to eat in Pret. You've got to actually have the
No.
badge that says middle class to be in
No,
Pret.
it's not even that. They just do really crap sandwiches.
Exactly. You're too lower class to accept them.
I like me a bit of Greg's.
Salad in them.
Yeah.
No, Greg's is rubbish now. The sausage rolls aren't hot anymore.
Sausage rolls are hot.
No. Now, because of the pasty tax, if you go in Greg's, all the sausage rolls and bakes are just in a normal cabinet. They're not in a heated cabinet anymore. So if you get lucky and go and they take them out of the oven, they're hot. But if you go like later in the day, they're cold.
I don't like the fact you don't get a plate or knife and fork anymore.
You would eat a sausage roll with a plate and a knife and fork.
Yeah. Or a pasty. Or
You eat in
a
Pret, don't
bake.
you?
Yeah, I reckon like a knife and fork.
Okay. How about KFC? Do you eat that with a knife and fork?
Are we talking about what we've been eating over the quarantine period?
Well, we are now. Favourite quarantine foods and, what we've been gorging on. And you can't just say everything, Sam. So I'm going to go with Susan first this time. Susan, what's floated your boat on the cuisine front?
Right, so loads of cheesecake. I make one every about 2 or 3 days. And then I eat it pretty much all on my own. So things are not looking good in the world of isolation. And chocolate eggs. I've had loads and loads and loads of Easter eggs. And
Hold on.
prawn and cocktail
I
Pringles.
hope you didn't go to Tesco's and only buy chocolate eggs. Because
No,
I have
not
it on good
only.
authority that is a cardinal sin. You're
No,
risking
I bought other
lives.
things. I bought Pringles as well. No.
No, I also
Yeah,
bought
prawn
a crate of lager.
But no, I'll be honest with you, prawn and cocktail Pringles, cheesecake and chocolate eggs. That's all I've pretty much eaten for the last 3 weeks, or 3.5 weeks.
Jonathan, what's your tastes been like during this quarantine?
Well, it's pretty good. I suppose, highlights, leg of lamb, bit of roast beef on occasion.
Sausage surprise?
Sausage surprise, yeah, I've had sausage surprise.
Perhaps you could
Made with bratwurst as well.
Perhaps you could explain to the
yeah.
unapologetic viewers what sausage surprise is.
It's toad in the hole.
Oh,
That's not what you've told us before. You've told us it's whatever was going in the bargain bucket, possibly with sausages or not. That's the surprise.
Well, yeah.
I thought it was more of a sausage casserole.
Yeah.
No,
all of the slow cooker.
it's with the old batter and that. It's yeah.
Now, if I'd have known that it was toad in the hole, I would have been much jealouser. Because, is that a word, jealouser? Much more jealous.
No. No, jealousy is not a word.
Is now. Unapologetic vote? No, better not, because you'll all vote against me.
So what have you been eating in a quarantine?
Yeah.
Well, I've had a few curries from the local curry place, which I really like. We all like, actually, but I particularly like. So I've had a few of them, and they've been real tasty. And then just really bad snacks all the time, really. I mean, not eating properly at all, just kind of constantly snacking. And gained about 3/4 of a stone in about 3 weeks. So all of that dieting I did earlier in the year, mostly wasted. Have to start all over again.
Have you had takeaways? Have you all had lots of takeaways?
Loads.
I've had loads. Yeah, I had a Chinese last night.
The endless cycle of Chinese kebab curry.
I've had one.
Well, I have cooked more. So I cooked bacon and cheese turnovers. I made a lovely Sunday roast on Sunday, which was really nice. I made a massive family-sized lasagna, which I then cut up and froze bits in the whole, batch cooking thing.
That's good.
I made a cottage pie one day, and a kind of a stew one day. Jonathan, what have you done anything unusual, or is it just the things you've already mentioned? Any savoury, any sweet stuff?
I've ventured into things like making a bacon sandwich or a cheese sandwich.
Impressive.
Wow.
So,
Impressive.
I'm now at the cutting edge of cookery.
Okay, so we've pretty much come to the
I've
end.
been having a bacon sandwich for breakfast, actually. And also, I've been having a lot at breakfast. So, like, there was one day last week when I had a bowl of cereal and 4 pieces of Marmite on toast and the yogurt.
That's a lot.
I know, but...
It's not as bad
Me and my husband,
as a
we've-
proper size full English, really.
Oh, we
I was gonna say,
we had a fry-up at the weekend. We had a lovely big fry-up. We've cooked every single night, apart from last night. We both were just... It'd been 4 weeks since we've left the house. We were just a bit done and tired, and we were just like, let's have a takeaway just to cheer ourselves up. But yeah, we've cooked every single night. Mostly him, to be fair. He's not coping well with being out of work.
So when we had our podcast earlier in the year, when the virus was still just kind of a rumour, and we were all asked to say what we thought it was going to happen, we pretty much all didn't think it was. None of us thought it was going to end up like this.
No.
So nobody did, though, to be fair. So knowing that we're terrible at these sort of guesses, let's try again. When do you think there will begin to be some relaxation of our current lockdown status? When do you think it will get a little bit lighter? Sam?
I would like to think in 3 weeks' time, but I think maybe not for another 9 weeks.
Jonathan?
Oh, I would think about 3 weeks' time.
Susan?
And I'm always right, so yeah, it'd be 3 weeks' time.
I think about 6. I think beginning of June we'll start to see things relax, and hopefully by the end of June we'll see the schools go back.
Yeah, I think June will be when the schools go back. I think there'll be some...
I really like that.
There'll be some sort of relaxation in 3 weeks, but it will be minor.
It won't
very
be schools
minor.
and it won't be work.
It'll just be something like some other shops can open or something like... It'll be something minor.
Yeah. Businesses can start coming open again.
Yeah, but as long as they can maintain social
Do I
distance.
still have to queue for hours? Because that's really bored. I'm then bored of that now.
Luckily, the British
Why
are
are you
professional
queuing?
queuers.
But I never used to go anywhere when I used to go in shops. I never went up to anybody everywhere. So I don't know why they're so worried about it now. I've been socially distancing for years.
Go on, Jonathan, what are you saying?
Yeah, I what's this queue thing? I just go into town, walk in a shop, buy something, and leave. What's the issue?
When's the last time you went uptown, Jonathan?
A couple of days ago.
Yeah,
He goes to Heron Foods. See, Heron Foods, to be fair, they don't ever have a queue there.
No, it's lovely.
Yeah,
in
it's
there,
the big
isn't it?
supermarkets that have the queues, and Sam and I are doing it all the time because we're doing all this shopping for elderly, vulnerable people, and that's what's taking up a lot of our days. So we spend
But Heron Foods,
hours in
Heron
queues.
Foods is much better, I found, when we've been there before. They don't have all the stuff in there.
Nothing is as bad as ours.
No, but
As
the other thing
worst.
about Heron Foods is actually quite reasonably priced. I mean, sort of French butter, £1.25. What
French what?
Butter.
French butter, £1.25.
French
Tesco's
butter.
£2.
What's the difference
butter.
between French and English butter? And don't say what the country it's made in. I mean, in taste.
Yeah, French butter
Butter.
does taste better.
Better.
Oh, well,
Better bit of butter on your knife.
better butter.
Yeah.
Okay, guys,
That's
well, if anyone's got anything they want to say, obviously the public are all out there, our wonderful listeners who've been desperately waiting for us to come back and speak to them again, starving for a bit of the Unapologetic crew. We're finally back. Anything you want to say to express your love and appreciation for our viewers? Susan?
Oh, God, no. You know, it's like a birthday card at work when someone signs it. You want to copy what they say?
Yeah.
Don't ask me first. Go to Sam first, and I'll go second.
That's why we asked you first.
I know.
Go on then, Sam. What you got to say to express your love and appreciation to our wonderful, dedicated viewers?
I think people need to just hang in there, look after each other. I won't say stay safe because that's such a cliche at the moment. No, I'm just people need to. People are really sad at the moment, and everyone's having a go at each other. And just stop having a go at each other. Cut people some slack. Don't go and judge everyone for what you think they shouldn't be doing. Because
Jonathan, what do you think?
I'm just wondering why they're watching this. Haven't they got homes to go to, these people?
They're stuck in their homes, Jonathan. This is what passes for entertainment for 7 or 8 people.
7 or 8. Now our viewers have gone up, have they?
Right, Susan, have you got enough now to say something to say?
Welcome to the new viewers, both of them.
Yeah.
So actually, I know it's like really bad because I just said it, but I actually agree with Sam that people are so scared at the moment that they're really quite vicious about everything and anyone. So everything's like, I don't know, everyone's just getting really nasty all the time. Customer service has gone out the window. You know, people just aren't happy and smiley. And if you smile at anyone on the street, they literally just like throw themselves away from you. Like, I'm not going to run up and lick you. I just was going to say hello. So that would be quite nice if that happened.
I definitely don't recommend starting licking people. They don't like that.
Yeah, like bad. Licking's bad. But I don't know, just don't let the fear overtake you. Just keep things in perspective. Understand what this is and just keep calm a little bit.
Yeah. So I guess I would just say stay calm, don't panic, follow government advice, and don't be afraid to question things. All right? You can support the government and want to do the right thing and be following advice, but still question some of it. You do not have to sit silently and take everything you're told without a pinch of salt. It's absolutely allowed. It's normal for British people to question things a little bit. It's absolutely harmless, and people need to be questioned to make sure they're not overstepping their authority. Anyway, with that, I guess it's time to say goodbye, Susan.
Bye.
Goodbye, Sam.
Bye.
Goodbye, Jonathan the Phone Shape.
Cheerio.
And we have been Unapologetic, the UK podcast on politics, news and stuff from a right of centre viewpoint.